Looks to me like we've made it. We are streaming live to you from the RO Radio Lab at 3901 South Lamar. Thank you for joining us this morning. It's our first time doing this, so we're open to any feedbacks, comments, so on and so forth. Have Mr. Bruno Cicchini with us today, and we also have Dr. Hagen Fritz. Bruno, you want to give everyone a quick intro on who you are?
Yes, of course. Bruno Cicchini, like he said. I've been with the VDC department close to 5 years. Anniversary was actually last month. So happy to be here and happy to be testing out this with the R&D department here representing.
It'll be interesting. Be exciting. See how things work out here. May do more of these in the future. Hagen, you want to give us a quick introduction in case anyone doesn't know who you are yet?
It's a good chance they don't know. My name's Hagen Fritz. I've been here, a couple months. Interned over the summer, full-time starting in September. I am the first full-time hire within the R&D department, an R&D engineer, and I don't know anything else that I gotta say.
Are you happy to be here?
I'm loving it. Everyone's great, enjoying this, enjoying the people I work with, so it's been great so far.
That's what matters. As long as you're having fun, we'll figure the rest out. So we have Cesar here. He'll be taking calls. You should see the number scrolling across the screen there. And we'll also, if you post things up into the YouTube chat, we will take the questions there as well. And if you don't have any questions, don't sweat it. We're here. We'll be here for the next hour. It's pretty loose. No strict formatting to it at all. I think what we will do is, while we're waiting on some calls to come in, is give you guys a quick demo of Iris. And what Iris is, it's a actually, Hagen, would you mind? You built this thing from scratch. You know more about it than anyone else on the planet. You want to take us through real quick on what Iris is all about?
No. Yeah, I can. So Iris is, so we have the innovation station, right? So that's where anyone in the company can submit their ideas. And we, every 2 weeks or so, we get together and we grade the ideas using this objective, well, both an objective metric and then also an engagement score, which is based on people engage with your idea. But that information kind of stopped with us. So what we wanted to do is make sure that everyone in the company could see those scores. So that's what Iris is. Iris is a place where you can go, see the ideas, see the same information that you can see on the innovation station, but also see the scores that we've assigned to those ideas. And on top of that, we have the option to appeal those scores. So if you think that for some reason we scored one of the 4 components of our metric incorrectly, you can shoot us an email and say, hey, I disagree with this because of X, Y, and Z reason. And then we'll get that. And we have our first challenge, so we don't necessarily know how things are going to work, but we're going to work on that. And we'll use whatever you submit to then maybe change the score or get with the original submitter to see how we can change that.
Thank you, Hagen. That was a great overview. So looking at it here on the innovation station, if you go to the innovation station as well, you'll see this Iris tab up at the very top, very easy to get to. It's also listed on SharePoint, so if you go to the company apps dashboard page, you'll be able to find it there. So if we just quick overview here, we have our all scored ideas. If we dive into that area, you're able to see all the ideas that we scored. Notable here is the fact they're sorted based on rank. So by default, you see the highest rice score first, and then they go in descending rice score order. But you could also go in here and see the engagement scores and sort them low to high, high to low, so on and so forth. So this is a really flexible tool that allows you to go in and see not only what did your idea score, but pretty easily see where does it stand relative to everyone else. Bruno, I know you can't see my screen here, but I'm going to pull up one of these ideas, and we've got the reach, impact, confidence, and effort here. Do you want to kind of explain real quick to people what each of those factors, each of those scored metrics mean and how we derive those?
Yeah, definitely. I know The scoring method is called the RISE method, and we didn't invent it ourselves. We're actually borrowing it from. Do you remember the name of the company we're borrowing the?
Say like Intercom or something like that.
That sounds.
Intercom or Polycom, one of those com types. Software company for sure.
No, I think you're right. He follows the idea that to kind of make the score a little more fair and adjustable. You grade this four criterias. So RISE stands for four different things. So RISE, R meaning reach, I for impact, then confidence, and then effort. And of course, kind of the reach means how many people does this idea reach. Right now, we're thinking only reaching in our company. So right now, it's about 500 people or so, a little more or less. Uh, then the impact is okay. This idea, if it were to be implemented, how much impact would it have on that reach? Is it highly impactful on their work-to-life balance? Is it low? Does it matter? How much would it help them in the end?
I think it's important to note here too, Bruno, that these are all based on a quarter. That's right. There's some things with reach that it probably an idea that might impact everybody, but does it impact everybody in 3 months? We don't want these to be infinitely long. It would make them even more difficult to score than they are already. So whether it's the impact, the reach, confidence is irrelevant, but the reach or the impact, those are with regards to a 3 month period.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Thank you for jumping on that. And kind of, he mentioned the sees the confidence. So based on our information or data that we have at hand, are we confident of the reach and impact value that we have given this idea? So the confidence, like you said, I mean, it does matter, but it definitely is very prone to errors. But the more information we have, the more information we gather from the submitter, the better we can kind of make that call about the confidence. So it's really about the submitter being able to provide accurate and detailed information for us to make a good judgment on the idea. And then the effort, that's the one that kind of gets tricky because kind of on a logical standpoint, the more effort you give an idea, the more time it will take. So we want to keep that effort at the minimum because the way the effort is graded is the amount of manpower in what's it we say like
A person months.
person per month. So how many persons per month will this idea take to be implemented? So that one does gets a little more finicky, but the point is that we're able to kind of see how many people we need to bring on board to be able to kind of successfully implement this idea. So once you have those four values, the RISE, you'll multiply the RNC and then divide all those three values into the effort. And then with that, you'll get the RISE score, which is what you see back in the Iris dashboard. And you can kind of see it being ranked across the other ideas. And ideally, the higher the RISE score is, the better indicator it is for the R&D department to kind of jump in on it and see if there's a way to kind of make that happen, because definitely has a big reach and definitely has a big impact that we want to address.
Yeah, yes, Bruno. I know you can't see my screen. It's not fair. I have control of the cameras, the screen, all of it. But you can control the audio. You can cut me off at any moment.
I have the power to mute you, James, so throw it lightly.
So, to Bruno's point there regarding the likelihood of implementation relative to RISE score, you can see the status listed in Iris here. And these very high scored ideas, they've all moved into discovery or implementation. And as we get lower down, you'll start seeing them move into hold. So there's certainly a number of different ways for a idea to be implemented, but a high RISE score, the greater the impact on the most people with minimal effort is how you're going to see those go from a submission to reality most quickly. But we also go through, and you might see Mr. Simpson's pre-con life raft idea here. Only had a RISE score of 50, which is still pretty good, but definitely mid-pack as a rank. But he reached out to everybody and their cousin in the pre-con and estimating departments and said, "Hey, go vote for this. Go like this. Go comment on this." And pretty quickly got this up to rank of number 1 in engagement scores. So that's something that we immediately jumped on board and we're currently looking into and working with him and his team on.
And if I may, James, interrupt you, since you have the dashboard open, Could you elaborate a little more on the engagement side? How can someone get the idea engaged? How can I make my idea come to the top?
I feel like you and I have been just talking on and on. There's someone I really want to
So
hear
you know
from.
who knows about this?
There's someone who
There's
just knows a lot about everything.
someone in this room.
He
That
spent about a third of his life knowing things, just learning things to know them.
if you need
Might be
engagement,
longer
I know
than
the guy.
third.
Really love to hear from Mr. Hagen Fritz,
About-
Dr. Hagen Fritz.
About engagement?
Yeah.
Engagement. Tell us, how is that calculated? How does someone get that extremely high engagement score?
You as a social butterfly, how do you get the idea engaged? How do you take it to the top?
Well, so the engagement is based off the number of views your idea gets, number of likes you get, and the number of comments. And I believe the likes is multiplied by 10. One of them is multiplied by 10. I'm pretty sure it's the likes.
You're correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming. So that's how your idea can get more engagement. And so if you you want to go around to people on your project or people within the office, depending on where you're situated, and just talk to them and hype up your idea and say, hey, go vote for my idea. Because if you take Tim's idea, for instance, it has a smaller rice score simply because it's a smaller reach, but it has such a high engagement score that we just can't ignore that. Right? So rice isn't the only indicator that we're going to use, especially if you have an engagement score like that idea, which is honestly kind of incorrect on the Iris. It's actually a little bit higher than that because he got even more likes recently.
Mute.
So I think Tim did a great job, and I think Laura recently submitted an idea, and she got, I think, all of marketing behind it too. So she has a really high engagement score. So I think those are the kind of things that are going to make us pay attention, and not only us, but also the rest of the company, right? If they see so many people excited about this idea, they're going to want to implement that idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for providing that. And I did pull up within Iris, you're able to click on those little eyes and see more information on these topics. So if we go in there, you can see what is engagement. And we have it listed out and confirm Bruno's thoughts. It is a 10x for the likes plus comments and views. All right. Sounds like we might have a call coming in for the first time today.
Oh boy, it's exciting. It's an exciting time.
It's always exciting.
Very exciting. Let's give a round of applause to this caller.
Hello, who do we have on the line? Seems that we have no one online. Not sure if they're on the call here. Oh boy. Do some on-the-spot troubleshooting. Just, whomever that is on the line, I apologize for our lack of preparedness. I think they hung up on us.
Well, we do have a question for
They didn't hang up. Come on now.
We
There
have
we go.
someone. Never mind. Sorry, Rebecca.
Okay, you still
I'm
there?
live. Yes.
All right. Sorry for the hold up there. Who are we speaking with?
This is Tawny Sauer with the marketing department.
Good morning, Ms. Tawny Sauer. Well, what is your question today?
So you guys have been talking a little bit about the different scores on an individual idea. What I was hoping to know is, have you guys encountered idea submissions that are really similar to one another? And if so, is there a way that you're acknowledging that in the connections or scoring?
So we have had several ideas come in that are similar in vein. I think there's one in particular regarding pre-con handoff to pre-con estimating biz development side of things handoff to the ops teams. We had, I want to say, 3 or 4 different ideas that kind of settled around that same concept. What we've done so far is we've taken those ideas and we generally give them all the same RICE score. And on our back end, we group them together. We don't currently have a multiplier, if you will, for similar submissions, but it's something that we've considered. Obviously, there's, if there's more than one submission on a single concept, that should increase the engagement score, if not the RICE score, through some form or fashion. So while we don't have anything in place yet, that is something that we've thought about. And, as Bruno said, this RICE score is something we borrowed from a software company. So we don't expect it to be perfect for us just right off the bat. We're going to refine this. We're going to improve it. We're going to make it better. But it is going to take us time to build a database of scores to reference and build a new model around. Bruno, do you have anything to add there?
No, I think you put it pretty well. But kind of to address the question, we are keeping track of those ideas that are connected, and we're definitely keeping kind of those. We're trying, if anything, trying to bring those submitters together so they can kind of bounce ideas off each other, and maybe instead of having 5 solutions for those 5 separate ideas, we can come together and create one solution, which I think we actually have happening with more or less with one of our incoming hopeful successful stories. But we're keeping an eye on it. But yes, that's a very good point, Tani. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, fantastic. Great answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you later. Anyone else, Azar? Not right now? All right.
You want to answer Rebecca's question? She actually asked it first, so.
You're correct. I believe Rebecca put a question up in the chat. I didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
I'm a bad
Well,
whatever this is.
This is my job, so.
Podcast or live stream or pirate. I don't know what this is, and I'm not good at it. But I'm sure that in the time you've had since she sent the question, you have been able to develop an answer. So I'd love to hear
I've
from
just
you.
been enthralled by your voice. So, Rebecca asked, what has been y'all's favorite submission so far, or submission that you're most excited about?
I really want to hear from you on this
Is this
because
for each of us, or is this for?
I would imagine it's for
let's
each
go
of
around
us.
the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start with you, James.
starting with James.
Yeah, age before beauty.
I got to think about it.
It's tough to pick just one, but there's a theme of high level change. The highest Rice score to date was on an idea that regarded implementation of a standard poll planning board and training on how to use those boards and how to do poll planning as well. Obviously, a lot of projects already do this, but it's not super consistent. And Mr. Callum there submitted this idea and gave us a great walkthrough on what he's done, what's worked well for him. I was super impressed. So whenever I see those ideas that come in that aren't, automations are great. They make life easier for folks and all that. But whenever those people see that they can change a process, even if it's just a tiny little 1% change, whenever it's 1% across 50 active projects or 500 employees, that's a huge, huge impact. So I guess if I have to pick an idea, I'm going with the lean training and poll planning idea, but really all of those that fall into the category of large process change, not just a small incremental or an automation, but really changing how we work. Those are the ones I get excited about. Mr. Bruno, what's your favorite so far?
I think for me it might be more of a category related. Whenever we did the work-life balance challenge, I think I enjoy seeing all of the ideas that were submitted. And as you know, challenges is something that the Innovation Station puts together to kind of bring collaborative ideas into one place, into one challenge, into one outcome. So this work-life balance challenge really have people providing very creative ideas, from having day off on your birthday, which I already do, but then also kind of having 4-day work weeks, or maybe improving the federal holiday schedule, or maybe something more touch to home, kind of improving the time off for some parents, kind of like childcare more related, or to even ranging to just being able more to adapt and have more flexibility in the job. So seeing those ideas within that one challenge was very, very excited to see. In regards to current exciting ideas that we're working on, I would say kind of helping the pre-con department kind of with that cost historical data. I think that's exciting, just not only because it's a nice challenge for us, but also I think it has huge benefits to pre-con, of course, but I think even departments beyond pre-con, like even operations and VDC, like having that information kind of nicely laid out has, I think, huge potential. So I think it can benefit it all.
That one gets me excited because bear in mind that January 1st this year, R&D was one person. I had help from Bruno and Cesar as available, but it was basically just me. And whenever we'd see those ideas or have those ideas, I could only do so much. There's only so much time in a day and all that. And something as gargantuan as undertaking to consolidate, create a clean historical cost database, and create an interface that the pre-con team and business development team can use to interact with it. It would have taken me years to do, but now having grown and having Dr. Fritz on board, and with Bruno continuing to assist us as much as he can, and I don't know what we'd do without Cesar. We wouldn't be sitting here, that's for sure. It's allowed us to take those tasks and say, all right, Bruno, you've got experience with the pre-con efforts. You know how things work with Assemble and Revit and all that. You know how the quantities are coming through. Have a decent idea on how estimates are put together. You take that front. Hagen's over here. He's working very much on the data-heavy side of things and crunching numbers and trying to figure out how to map out all these values. So it's super awesome to see all of these different personalities and abilities come together to be able to make hopefully a highly effective solution for these submissions. Did you come up with your idea there, Sarah? Your favorite?
He's cheating over there. He pulled off the list.
No. I was. Well, yeah. But I don't know if it's my favorite idea, but it's definitely been the most frustrating, but I guess in a good way. So it's an idea that I've been working on since I started here as an intern, and it was the safety form that Brandon had submitted.
Brandon Arias, shout out.
Yes. It's a fantastic idea. Essentially the idea is to take the safety orientation form and digitize it. Seems simple enough, but it's been kind of a headache, and I think I've gone through multiple iterations of solutions that then just at the very end, like I feel like I'm 90% there, and then it just like, no, we can't do that, or like, no, it's going to cost too much, or something like, or it's just not as elegant as we would hope. I think we finally have something that's pretty good, but it's just been interesting because I've gotten to explore so many different aspects of trying to get this form together, like we create our own app, just like how we did with Iris, so using Flutterflow. I'm typically writing everything in Python, so writing Python, but doing like scheduling cloud functions to execute at scheduled periods, tying into Procore, getting to know Procore a little bit better, and understand how we can get that form into Procore. But that was after like using DocuSign and using Power Automate and using other Microsoft tools. So there's just so many different platforms and software that I got exposed to and I got to use a little bit. So that was kind of exciting, and the fact that it is working now is even more exciting. And so it'll be a nice little thing to check off once I get that implemented, because I have been working on it for, like I said, like 5-ish months trying to get it working. And I had other things going on too. I wasn't just the only thing.
Intern life is very hard.
It is.
You get cold breakfast tacos.
Well, I enjoy cold breakfast talk. Any breakfast.
Wasn't waiting for that to pop up. Scott, I saw your message in the chat there. Sorry about that, Echo. I think we got that resolved. That was an error on my end. I was underprepared. Linda, I saw you had asked about be announcing any ideas we adopt. I'm not sure I'm following there, but what I can tell you all, it's a big secret. Very big surprise that we have here.
Are we going to make news with this?
We might.
Headlines?
Perhaps bigger headlines than what came out yesterday. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any ideas that get submitted during this call are going to get a very special scoring bonus bump in engagement score. So any ideas that get submitted from now, and we'll say until 1 p.m. today, are going to get the number of views from this stream added onto their engagement score.
So you're saying they can have an advantage of their score?
They will indeed be getting an advantage to their score.
Goodness.
So, we want you to all stay engaged here. Please call in. We'd love to have anybody call in. You can ask us anything, literally anything. It's the beauty of this. We don't know who you are. We will ask. You can decline to tell us, and tell us all the terrible things that you've wanted to say about us for so long that you haven't been able to. But yeah, we'd love some more calls. We want jump through some real hoops to make sure we could do that. And it can be related to R&D Department. It can be related to Iris. If you just have general questions about RO, if you're a newer employee and you're wondering, hey, what's it like, the week before Thanksgiving? What should I expect? We can do our best to answer that.
Who makes the best potluck dish for Thanksgiving?
Ooh, Miranda will call in on that one for sure.
Well, I don't know. I have a pretty sick recipe, James. I can't tell you secret.
Well, I'm looking forward to
Don't
it.
know.
You have to come to potluck to find out.
Have to check with Veronica. I bet you there's suddenly a spike in signups now. Hope there is.
Any
So-
other questions on the chat?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm just swapping back and forth between screens. How do I? So Tim asked in the chat there, how do I find submissions about the PC to ops handoff you mentioned? So Tim, that's a fantastic question, and a huge part of the reason that we built out Iris is to make these ideas easier to find. So Dr. Fritz, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up Iris and demonstrate the search tool. Would you mind just kind of explaining how that operates?
The search tool.
Yes, sir.
Let me know where you're at.
Yeah. So if we're over here and all the scored ideas, and perhaps easy for me to talk through is, Tim, the pre-con to ops was the handoff, I believe was the question. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if I go in here, Tim, and should be seeing the Iris dashboard, just typing into the search bar anything. This will search submitters name as well as descriptions. Just typing in the pre, I'm able to see his revamping pre-call process. I think some of the other ones might have actually been revolving around the winning team. Yeah. So these are based on the titles. They don't search all the text, I believe. Is that correct, Hagen?
Correct.
Okay.
Only the title or the submitter
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah. Searching the full body text would be quite a bit to go into, so we haven't set that up. But you are able to go in here, and again, if that title has anything about pre-construction or winning teams or pre-con or what have you, you'll see that pop up as you search. So I hope that clarifies for you, Tim, as far as where you could go and find those things. And if you wanted to go in there and say you were, what do you say, they're the winning teams, right? Oops. Boy, typing errors are embarrassing. They're even more embarrassing when you're in front of 30 of your coworkers on a live stream. If we go into the idea details here for this winning teams call, if you come in and click on any of these, say you want to go in and check out the idea, you're able to click on it, and it'll take you right over to that idea in the innovation station where you can give it a thumbs up. You can go in and comment on it. You can read all the details just the same as you can in Iris. So if you do find an idea and you want to engage with it, you can't currently do that through Iris, but clicking within Iris will take you to that idea. And I believe, unless Cesar's lying to me, that we have another call that I am very excited about. So go ahead and send that over whenever you're ready, Cesar. Part of me thinks we shouldn't ask who these people are.
Oh, well, let's keep it secret. Let's try to guess who it is.
That, you know what? That could be interesting there. Well,
I know like 0 people.
we'll see what other than there should be no excuse for
Gotta be
Bruno
more
and I to not
engaged.
win this. Good morning. You're on the call with the R&D team.
Hello, this is Andrew Kilburn from Estimating. How's it going, guys?
Doing pretty well, Andrew. How are you?
Doing good. I want to start off with what everyone wants to know. What are your Thanksgiving plans?
See, I'm surprised it took this long to get one of these. So my Thanksgiving plans are focused on repairing old vehicles that I have too many of. Enjoy some time off work, fix some cars, and hopefully sleep in a little bit here and there.
Love it.
Dr. Fritz, what's your plan there, sir?
I am going to spend time with my family. So my dad recently moved back from Montana to the DFW area. I'm from the DFW area, from Arlington, right smack in the middle. And so I will be going up there, having Thanksgiving with actually my mom's side, and then going to go see my dad. It's been years since I got to see him just because it was hard to get up to Montana from time to time. So just seeing my family.
Love it. Mr. Chikini, what's on your plate?
No,
Literally
big,
and
big
figuratively.
plans. Big plans. So we'll have a big dinner between me, myself, and my dog. It'll be the two of us.
Handle it.
Ooh,
It'll be quite
the
romantic.
mascot.
he, yeah, he's excited to see what I cook. He will eat anything. I learned this week he likes corn, so he might be getting some of that. Uh, but apart from that, just staying at home. Families in different cities, so we're not getting together. But I'll have my dog next to me, just lots of cuddles, lots of pets, and I'll give some of those to him as well.
Here's the big question, Andrew. What are you doing?
What am I doing? So I just moved down from the Boston area and tough to figure out what to do. So going out to a restaurant and just doing the whole Thanksgiving experience there and hopefully just kind of figuring out some stuff in between with some friends that I've made down here. So first time being away from family for a while. So I'm jealous of the doctor.
Oh man,
You have a family with us, Andrew.
Yeah, I hear someone.
Oh yeah, you can come celebrate with us, Bruno.
I'll check with the boss.
Oh,
See what he thinks.
corn must be made
boy,
of
but no,
value.
I did have a R&D question though. By any chance, is using VR on the job site in the pipeline for any time in the future, or just on the radar? That'd be cool.
Ooh, I'm gonna kick that over to Hagen. He's been keeping up with the submissions. Are you aware of anything that's come in on that front?
I don't think so. There might have been something a while ago prior to me. I feel like I've seen something.
There was one related to bringing a VDC, I think it was called Toolbox, to the job site. I think it was by Kayla back in San Antonio. Shout out Kayla. I think she wanted to bring more of that VDC tech into the field. So I think that incorporated some of the AR VR headset. But apart from that, nothing yet. But you know what that means, Andrew.
Ooh, there's room for a submission.
I think it's a new idea. It sounds different. All right, it sounds unique. Get me those views.
Yeah, no, I think that is.
Everyone interact.
There you go.
You've got 40 or so people right now that should be listening to you. I think that is interesting though, because that's one of those fields that's so vast and there's so many different ways to implement that as a tool that it's difficult. But whenever you're able to hone in on a particular area, and I'm thinking with you and your experience in pre-con, if there's some sort of pre-con issue that you can tie in to that VR solution, that's where you're going to see those ideas really propel forward. Whenever we can increase that impact to a high because we realize that this is a huge risk reduction for the company, that's a big difference compared to saying, well, we could throw on some VR headsets and it'll be a great marketing gig. And that's great, but it's not an exceptional impact at that point. So I would highly encourage you, A, to submit that, and B, definitely if you can find like a particular area, if you've heard stuff from people in the field or if you've experienced stuff yourself in the office where that tool could have saved us time, saved us money, saved us effort, prevented rework, any of those types of things, it's sure to do quite well on itself.
So if you submit an idea, we'll make sure to give you that extra engagement. So congrats on that, Andrew.
Awesome. Yay, crowd applause. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, second caller. That was good. That is interesting. Those VR AR tools have been out there for so long, and I feel that we've tried some of the stuff in the past and had moderate success, but none of it's ever really stuck. And I think it's because of that complexity. You've always had to deal with models. Where are the images models coming from? Who's maintaining those? Bruno, looks like you got some thoughts there.
Yeah, I know some of our VDC specialists have tried to explore that front, and definitely worth exploring, worth to hopefully implement in the. I mean, I could say future, but I think the future is kind of now, not to sound too cheesy. But I mean, we're definitely exploring that. We had a specialist who was really involved in it, and we've seen kind of huge movement in the industry. So definitely, VDC is definitely looking at that, and hopefully gets implemented in a beneficial, time-efficient fashion. Because time is something we'll looking to find nowadays.
Yeah, I don't have enough of it. I've heard there's somebody who has nothing but too much of it.
Time, yeah.
Nothing but time.
If anything, you have too much time. There you go. Shout out to SR. He taught me well.
Please do keep the calls coming in. We love hearing from you guys. This is, I think this is going great. It's again open opportunity. Ask us anything. We can discuss an idea. If you want to, you can go in and work on submitting an idea right now, and you can ask us, how do I get the most reach? Tell us what your idea is, and we'll talk through it with you. We'll figure it out right here, right now. I've got nowhere else to be for at least another 24 minutes.
Live from Studio 3901, SL, South Lamar.
South Lamar. I like it. So it's been interesting over the last, year and a half or so, because this is a very new department, being the R&D department, but it's one of those things that's kind of always been present at RO, just always veiled in people's excellence across other departments, whether it be accounting, operations, VDC, IT, wherever those people were at. I think we've always had a strong R&D, I don't want to say process, but a strong R&D presence. What was that, Bruno?
I'll say mentality.
Mentality, yes, absolutely. So I feel super fortunate to be a part of this group that now gets to kind of capitalize on all those people and their efforts and thoughts. But it's left me wondering, what does it look like in the future? What does R&D, and I say R&D, not as a department, but like as a company with an R&D department, how does that change us 3 years, 5 years from now? What do you think, Bruno? Where are we going? What's going to happen?
I mean, I think anything could happen, James. No, but I definitely do see a bit more. I mean, I want to say technology being implemented, but definitely I think people becoming more creative in their role, because I think with all the workload that happens, I think people are trying to find a better way, a faster way, and I think
sure.
that relies on innovation. So why stick to the old when the new can be better? So I think people are definitely ready for a change, and I think just a matter of kind of getting those ideas flowing, being able to voice those out, and kind of testing and implementing, see if those can stick around. Because I mean, I don't know about you, James, but I can see metal dogs around our job sites taking photos, taking scans.
Came close once.
I know, and then something happened to the world. We shut down. Yeah, I don't see why that's too far for reach. I think just a matter of testing it out, not being afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone, and just testing those things out.
We're making our own future. It's up to us. I like that. A little bit of empowerment, a little bit of agency for everyone out there.
And I think so. I think everyone has the power to throw something out and see where it sticks.
For sure.
Right. I don't like we can give people the tools, but ultimately we need people to want to use those tools. We need them to
Want to
be that
change.
change. Yeah, be the change.
Jinx. I don't have a jinx sound, but I would use a jinx sound.
What's a jinx sound?
I don't know.
A Coke bottle popping? I'm not sure.
I don't have none of these sound like a jinx sound.
We'll get that on there for you, Bruno, next time. Next go around. Hagen, I know you just mentioned that, we can lead the horse to water, but we can't make it drink. You're the newest hire in the group here, newest hire in the annex, I think, down here in the Austin office. No?
We have VDC specialists.
That's right. Maddie came in.
Shout out Maddie Smith.
Shout
out.
Well, still a relatively young buck, new hire, green, if you will.
Pretty old, if you ask me, but
Younger than you.
What do you foresee as a construction company with an effective R&D department? What do you think that looks like years down the road from now?
I don't necessarily want to say technology, but I feel like there could be more technology within the job. I mean, I think the VR is a good example of that, and I know there's a lot of like visualization things that y'all do, or at least I've seen like stick a GoPro on your hard hat and walk around the job site and it maps it for you. I think those things are really neat, and that would kind of help with stuff that you do with coordination, getting those live images that you can then tie into the model and see how those, and then resolve those conflicts. but I also think it doesn't necessarily have to be technology. It just has to be processes. I think um, from what I've seen, there's things that are somewhat inefficient, mainly with communication. But if we could streamline those processes or make those things, I guess, more um, not formulaic. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Systematic. I guess what I'm trying to think of. I think that would, even if we can just save a couple days on a job, I think that's huge. That's just a couple days times 30 is half a year. That's not right, but a couple of days, that's 90 days, right? And if we have more and more projects, that's just more and more time, which allows us to not necessarily get more work, but allow us to reevaluate what we're doing, see how we can continue to improve. I think we have this go 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 mentality, but if we can buy us some time, that allows us to reflect, and we can kind of see how we can improve even further from
Yeah, I could not agree more with that.
Well, I think you said all that, and I just
I
plagiarized plagiarized everything you
That's
said.
why it sounded so intelligent.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
why.
Well, maybe not that intelligent.
Dial it up with some nice
Right.
words there.
If I may, James,
Please.
I would like to put Dr. X intern Fritz on the hot seat, our segment, the hot seat.
I am sweating already.
Ask
so-
him a question. I think many of our viewers might be wondering.
Oh no.
You touched base on how he had low experience to the industry. So I think as someone who might have youngsters from universities calling in, I'd like to hear from Dr. X intern, kind of construction wise, was it what you were expecting? What would you recommend a young buck coming from academics to the industry as to what could they expect out of the industry?
In terms of just out of undergrad or out of grad school or out of both or out of
I forgot you were in school for like 20 years.
Yeah.
But let's do
Well,
let's do grad school.
oh, okay. Well, I have limited. I'll be frank. I have limited.
The hot seat.
Please be Hagen.
I see you
Well,
sweating.
yeah, I am. It's hot over here. I don't know how you're wearing that vest, but I have limited experience within the construction industry. But I think that's actually kind of valuable in that I have a unique perspective because I'm learning things. Well, maybe not even perspective. I'm gaining that perspective, right? Because I'm learning things, and so as I'm learning things, I'm kind of saying, well, does that really make sense to do that? Does that not? So I don't necessarily think you need experience definitely helps, right? But if you're a young buck, as you put it, I don't necessarily know that you need a full fledged, resume portfolio of all the GCs you've worked with, all the construction you've done. I think that definitely helps, but take like grad school applications. There are so many people that have like 4.0s coming out of undergrad, and I would hear from my advisors that that doesn't mean anything, right? Like if you're not doing stuff outside of school or you're not doing other things like that, right? That's what I'm kind of trying. You don't need all this job experience. You just kind of need a unique perspective, and you need to fit in. I know it's a big thing, at least within the VDC department, from what I hear, is that they don't want to hire the most qualified person if they're not going to be a good fit within the group, right? And I think that's huge because one of the big things, at least at RO, I don't know if this is true everywhere, maybe not because of stories he's told, but at RO, everyone's very welcoming, right? Even people that are quote unquote typical.
I can mute you, so watch out.
I don't know. The only word I can think of has a curse word in it. But right, people that tend to be intimidating. That's a better word to say. They've been great, right? I've never had any altercations or any weirdness there. So even though I feel like the construction industry has that kind of mindset, I haven't experienced that myself. So I think that's something to keep in mind too. But I don't know. I have a kind of a unique experience because I'm more of a programmer and data analysis than I am a builder.
And I can tell you, I think James and I can speak to that we highly value that outside experience and that extra point of view.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think to make change, you need new eyes, new perspective. And that's why you're here.
Definitely. So do you want to get to, I think I saw a question in the chat there somewhere regarding what is R&D. So real quick on that one. And, we'd love to hear someone call in and ask what is R&D. But we'll give you this one, chat answer. So R&D stands for Research and Development. And when a lot of people think of R&D, I think the default they go to is like a defense contractor or a robotics company or software companies or that type of entity. Maybe car companies, trying new self-driving vehicles and whatnot, things like that. But really, for us, it's research and development. It's a bit plain, but that's really what we're here to do. We're here to research things and then develop different solutions for different issues and different ideas that are submitted. We want to go through and figure out what is the root cause of the problem, what's really causing this. I don't have any good examples on hand, but we don't want to mistakenly identify an issue as a root cause, solve that, only to realize that there's still a problem we need to resolve. We want to really, there's things such as the 5 whys. I'd encourage any of you to go Google that if you're not familiar. We want to go through those 5 whys and really understand what is the pain point, what are the problems, what are the issues, the core of the issue here. And then we want to go through, and once we've established that and researched different solutions, we want to develop the best solution for those ideas. And these could be ideas that are submitted to the innovation station. This could be something that we as a department thought were critical things to address. This could be something that comes down from senior leadership. They say, hey, we've seen this issue. We've seen this opportunity for improvement. What can you guys do? So there's various different inroads, but at the end of the day, the R&D is research and development, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to research the issue, and then we're going to develop a solution to it. So I hope that answered the question. Hagen, you have something to add there, sir?
Just a lot of research on my end.
Lot of research.
Yeah, a lot of acronyms you got to learn.
What are your new top acronyms you've learned in the industry?
I just thought of one, but now I can't remember what it stands for. So
sounds about right.
Sounds like you didn't learn it. Sounds like you need 10 more years of school.
That's okay. No, done plenty of that.
Any calls there, Cesar? Nothing. Man, I guess there's still a handful of you out there. We'd love to hear you call in.
You can't see Cesar, but he's so disappointed.
He's half asleep.
Yeah. We need to get him working.
About to. Someone from the Austin office in the call. Cesar desperately needs a coffee. Yeah, those soft skills are important. Being able to solve a problem or to build a project or do anything in life, right?
Do not be awkward on a podcast or live stream video, which maybe we're not succeeding in.
Being awkward,
right? Well,
we've nailed that.
Yeah,
sir.
we just
That's
did.
not
I just
an
did
issue.
it right there.
You're muted.
It is true. It was. I think that's something that I've tend to underappreciate in life. Is those soft skills are so much of what allows you to be effective in your implementation and in your being an effective leader. You can be right, but if you're not persuasive, being right doesn't always mean a whole lot. And being persuasive requires you to be at least some level of empathetic, understand why someone may like or dislike an idea or change or what have you. And that's those soft skills that allow you to kind of identify, how do I communicate effectively with this person, or even identifying is this the right time? Is this the right place to have this talk? I think that makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, thank you, Linda, for throwing that in there. The most embarrassing part about this is we're using our phones as cameras, so we can't call in and use the voice changer to spoof a call. They have to be semi-authentic here. I feel like we've already cashed in on a couple of gimmies on call-ins.
I know we had an hour reserved. So as we approach the end, what are you hoping to be the next steps for this, James? You as the lead in R&D, whether it's manager, director, R&D specialist, R&D engineer 14. What are you seeing the next steps for R&D being? Might be a loaded
Now
question.
he's in the hot seat.
Yeah,
Here's your hot seat question.
I feel like I'm being put into a corner here.
Really, we just want to know what we're gonna do. I guess.
Yeah, Bruno's like, so how do I become king of the R&D department?
No, now just I'm here to support
Get
it.
recorded. Well, that's one of the things I've been spending a lot of time on lately is figuring out what does this group of individuals look like going forward, and you want to grow, but you want to grow the right way. Do you think right now one of the throttling mechanisms we have is just our bandwidth of 80 plus whatever hours a week we get from Bruno and Cesar? I think it's mostly Dr. Hagen and I, though, especially on the idea implementation. So between trying to get things like Iris going, dealing with appeals to scores, scoring ideas, working through all that, it makes it very difficult to also concurrently develop the next cool thing. I think we have plenty of ideas, whether they be from the innovation station or internally generated from the R&D department. We've got a lot of cool stuff to work on. It's a matter of finding time. So I think finding some of the right people and getting them engaged in the right way, whether that means getting ops to help us score ideas, perhaps assist in the score appeal process where we can offload some of that or at least expedite it, if nothing else, bringing on the right people at the right time with the right skill sets, which, we were talking about. I just want someone with like 10 to 20 years of construction experience that can code in 10 different languages, that understands how to do graphic design, and can speak in front of an audience of 1,000 with the gusto of Winston Churchill. Like this is all that I want.
You must be looking in a mirror.
Somebody knows it's review time of the
Yeah,
year.
I'm just looking for that bonus.
That's all I want. And for some reason, I can't find this person for $15 an hour. So I think that'll be kind of the next step. We have enough things to do, and I think we've done a pretty good job internally of identifying where our efforts are best placed. It's a matter of getting to those efforts, developing things like the Bluebeam keypad, right? We want to have that available, push it out to the field so that they can increase their production rates. Things like this. This took, I don't even know how many hours of Cesar's and I to figure out the audio and get everything hooked in and linked together and getting graphics together and all that, and still had hiccups, still have improvements. But I think this is something we'd probably like to do again and perhaps make reoccurring. But as is, without growing the department any, that means dropping something else. We could be scoring ideas right now. We could be implementing ideas right now. But instead, we're out here trying to make sure that people have an opportunity to see what we're doing, what's going on, challenge any thoughts, principles, questions that we may have had. So it's a tough balance between doing work and sharing with everyone what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, sorry. Did you have any more? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
by my
you're
excitement.
excited about something.
I know. I don't.
I'm
know.
excited
See my
about it.
face. We have two actually ideas that have been submitted.
Oh,
Oh, let's pop them up.
dang! I think that's
Oh,
a big deal.
oh.
That's a big deal, fellas. I don't know I don't think you understand the magnitude of this moment.
I can see your fingers ferociously going at the sound effects. So I've got an idea of how important it was.
I think as you open up, we can. Are we gonna read them live? Are we out of time? Are we?
No, we've still got 5 minutes, and I don't
Oh,
think YouTube's going to cut us off. I could be mistaken. I'm new to this.
perfect. As we
But
anticipate, let's wait in suspense.
That one's so clever too.
Let's pull them up here. So real quick, I'm going to dive into the innovation station and get some of these ideas pulled up.
As it loads, we'll just wait in suspense.
I don't know if we have enough time to wait for it to load.
Oh, goodness. It's getting real cold over here, real
Sorry.
cold-blooded.
Internal stress.
And I do see you pulled it up, Hagen, so you could also do a
Oh.
popcorn and read it for us.
I can. Yes.
We've I've got the first one
Perfect.
here. Let's jump into Iris. Make sure we've got this being shared. Yes, we do. All right. So take a look at this idea. Thanksgiving adopt an ROer, which sounds like it might have addressed a challenge we have coming up in the near future. So you guys should be able to see this, but I'll just read it out real quick for anyone who's not being overly attentive to the screen. Are you hosting Thanksgiving? Does your family have room for one more? Many of our employees have families who are in other states. I propose that we host a program to adopt a member of the RO family for Thanksgiving. I think that's really fantastic. It looks like Bruno had some thoughts on this.
I think
over to you.
I think it's a great idea. I think Vanessa Miller, shout out to VDC. Thank you for repping. No, I think definitely a good idea. Definitely, it's a quick turnaround. Definitely has a high reach. I can tell you that because you're reaching
At least 1/3 in this room.
at least 1/3 in this room, at least everyone in the company. So definitely that. And then the impact, pretty medium to high, I would say. It's an important holiday.
For sure. Yeah, no one wants to spend that time by themselves.
Definitely not. So I think yeah, it's gonna be a great idea. I'm just thinking of the best way to find that host house to invite. I don't have a house, so don't look at me, James.
Sounds like we need an app with a map. App with a map of available Thanksgiving dinners. Can you do that in a day for us?
Well, this Thanksgiving might be a little quick. We have a whole year.
It's true.
But something as simple as an email could go a long way.
This is true. Yeah.
Quick implementation.
Prototype, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for submitting that, Vanessa. That's awesome.
You will get that extra engagement score.
Well, and right now it's a pretty good bump. I think we had over 50. How much?
Oh, we're doing the whole. Oh,
Yeah. Why not?
okay. Well, we have to end it to find out.
Well, it'll be a nice bump
Yeah,
for sure. I believe there were 2. Is that correct?
Uno más.
All right.
One more.
Uno? Okay. I only speak
Sorry, you don't.
German
Thanks
and
for clarifying
Oh,
for
okay.
Bruno.
Latvian.
Yeah.
So, any calls, Cesar? No? All right. Looks like we'll take a quick look at this idea, and that'll be the end of this for us. So, here we've got some scheduling collaborative planning, mobile scheduling collaborative planning, backpack, and boards. We'd like to create some schedule pull planning calendar boards and backpacks with all the supplies that are needed for a scheduling collaborative planning session that project teams can order. I've also created a new innovative way to use post-it notes and colored painter's tape to represent a true Gantt chart and milestones, which makes it easier to see the logic. Boards will be dry erase so that you can draw in logic and lags. This is really excellent. It looks like Christine Graff submitted this. I don't think it's included in the write-up, but Callum Kelly had included something kind of similar to this with regards to the logic of the boards and the color coding and all that. I think it'd be awesome to get you guys together and kind of align a bit on what you're seeing as effective and what he's seeing as effective. And I also love the idea of throw it in an RO bag and haul it off to whatever job site. I think that'd be super handy just to have those kits ready to go. You don't have to worry about losing things or, hey, I ran out of these or that. Just stop by the office, grab a bag, or have one dropped off, or whatever the case is. Gentlemen, have any other thoughts on that one?
No, I think it makes actually a nice full circle addressing our first caller and seeing how 2 ideas might be same, but different. So I think definitely a good example. Tani, shout out. So how we were able to bring those 2 individuals together and try to come up with one effective solution. But I mean, definitely huge impacts there, I think, full planning.
For sure, yeah. It's the whole project team for the whole duration of the project. Well, I think that's our time. I don't know if YouTube cuts us off hard at 12 or not, but looks SA's giving me a no. Still shows we're live. We appreciate those of you that called in. Thank you very much. If anyone has any,
Thank you.
if anyone has any feedback, if anyone has any feedback, if you liked this, if you hated it, if you loved it, if you would have preferred more structure, I don't know how we could have been less structured, but less structure. Well, just any feedback you have, please don't hesitate to email us, Teams chat us, yell at us in the hallway, call me, text me. I'm pretty receptive to communication in general. We really want to increase our transparency. That's why we're doing this. This is what we're here for. We have a lot of really cool things going on, both in R&D and just as a company across the board. And we want to make sure everyone's as aware of those things that are going on as possible. That's why we want to host these sessions, be able to share. People can ask questions. Again, directly talk to ideas while we're here. So anything that we can do to improve this, make it better, make it more engaging, please do let us know. And if you hate it and you're like, this is a waste of an hour of my time, let us know and we'll do it again. That simple. One less thing for all of us to worry about setting up. But thank you all again to everyone that called in, to those that submitted ideas, everyone that sat here and watched us for the last hour. I think we had a lot of fun doing this, something different, but definitely a lot of fun. We look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, no, thank you, James. And then coming to you live was 3901 South Lamar Studio.